So yeah, the Myxo and Seto will join me to analyze the entry and yeah, basically cast with me. They will give their judge input toward the entries.
The
Much
incredible
fun.
judgy entries.
Yeah. Of course. Okay. Should we start then?
I think so.
Okay.
Wait, Seto, we wanted to bet who gets how many
Oh
right.
yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Basically, we're gonna bet me and Myxo, whoever gets the most wrong. It's not the most right, it's the most wrong. Okay. So how about it? Like I don't know what the winner's gonna get, Myxo, but like, let's choose that later. But basically, the one that's gonna win is the one that misses less. Okay.
The one that misses less.
Yeah. Like you have to
Okay.
get like. Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. That will be interesting. Okay. So we will start, of course, with the first match of the round of 16 bracket. Who is France versus Italy?
Pog.
Let's see. What entries are those?
So you can see all the mappers for each team. Of course, France was the first seed, and sadly, Italy was the last seed. But yeah, that's
But who knows? That means nothing.
well, yeah. Of course. So we are looking for one specific entry.
Oh, Celeste.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wait,
who would have thought?
Yeah.
It is, yes. It was first the entry for France for the judges because, of course, no one else should have known about it. And
And the other one is Mabel, right?
Yeah.
Italy was Mabel, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's start. So we don't have players to play so much entries, but we will have someone, a real player, to play the next entries for the next round. Yes.
What do you mean? Auto-chan is the best player.
I know. It's
Like he never misses.
It's
Like, what the fuck?
not always, but we have to be nasty with the editor.
Yeah. You see, like I don't know about Myxo and the others, but I actually got surprised that most entries tried to do something similar in this song. Like most of the entries tried to do like this kind of a linear flow, like kind of like Joseon style and some anti-jumps here and there. You see, not all of the entries, but most tried to do something very similar to that.
Yeah, I think it fits well. Like it's the obvious choice, let's say, because you have relatively high density in the song, but the mood of it is not like super intense. Like it doesn't really call for like constant jumps. So yeah, it makes sense. People went for this like low spacing, high density approach.
And also, like this kind of song usually has like very different sections. And at least to me, I think that was like the main thing that made like some entries stand out from others. Because although most entries had like very good patterns and very good rhythms, not all of them focus on the contrast between different parts. Like some of those had like very good patterns, but it was mostly the same thing from start to finish.
Yeah. And yeah, we can clearly see Fran's expertise. Like I'm always impressed how consistently good their entries are.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like they are super coherent as well. Like you don't really notice like, okay, now there's a different mapper than the previous part.
Okay. Someone sent a message in Nozhomi. People are saying that apparently the music is like quite high. Is it still like that?
No, it's not. I'm like
Okay.
at 5%, so
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't think it is.
I love that last slider art because of how not only like it looks nice, but it also like feels really good with the music. Like at the
Mhm.
point.
And especially at the ending Myxo, like a lot of mappers were scared of trying to do something, and most just put like a spinner. And it's
Yeah.
really cool to see when people go like, "No, we can do something," and like just like, "Let's go slider art, let's go rhythms." Like, I think that's really cool.
Indeed.
Okay, so we can go now with the Italian entry. Mabel.
Mhm.
Really a way more calm and intro for the song.
Yeah, the intro is one of the most different. Like between all the entries, I think the biggest difference comes with the intro because, like for example, this match, Italy tried to do like a very calm intro. I believe they did that mostly to play around with the contrast and the difficulty spikes between the song, which works in a way. But usually, when you're doing contrasts that like are very noticeable, you have to take a lot of care with the difficulty of the map because it can very easily become very broken. In this case of this entry, at least to me, felt like there were several parts where they were kind of too focused in like doing jumps with the single notes, different movements, and they didn't really try to use like more of the song to different emphasis. You see, most of the ideas were the same. It can work, and it was like really good most of the time. But I believe they could have done like a little bit more of a balancing. Like for example, the stream that just appeared there had a very sharp jump to the last few notes, so sometimes feels a little bit broken.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think like in this entry, like clearly they also went for this concept of like having overall relatively low spacing, high density
Mhm.
with a lot of circle patterns. And I think
Yeah.
like when the melody is playing constantly, it works really well to have those circle patterns, but I feel like sometimes there could have been some more sliders, I guess, to because it feels like certain sounds are like certain
Extended.
sounds
Yeah,
are
like-
underrepresented maybe by the map.
Yeah.
Like comparing it to France, I definitely think the expression is a bit less here, but still like it's not bad overall. It plays
Yeah,
nicely.
it's actually a really good map to be honest. Like when I played it, like usually I don't really like super linear maps with like close spacing, but this one, like as I said, due to the contrast and the balance they did, it works quite well. It's just that at some moments it feels a bit like bland and robotic, like kind of forced, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, and they did like this is really cool. Like they actually followed like the last few seconds of the song, and I don't think other entries did that. Not that I noticed. So it's really interesting.
Well, some did, but yeah, it's
So,
cool.
so we saw both entry. Maybe you want to give your prediction right now for the first match?
Sure.
Ooh.
I
Who you
mean,
voted to, Myxo?
I have to say, like, well, I think Italy did a good effort. I have to go with France simply because the entry felt a bit more coherent, a bit more expressive of the song. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Do you want
Yeah.
to give a precise score or not?
Ooh.
Oh, you
Let's
want
go precise score. Precise score. Let's go, Myxo. You first, me next.
I predict 4-1 for France.
I
Okay.
predict YOLO 5-0 France.
Damn.
Let's see.
Honestly, I wanted to believe in Italy, so myself for the pick them, I put 3-2 for Italy. But sadly, it's a brutal 5-0 for France.
Yeah.
I see.
It was,
Ooh.
yeah. It was really hard. But yeah. Well, at least
Yeah.
Italy did a pretty decent parkour compared to last year.
Exactly. Like I have
Yeah.
to say, Italy, you did well. You were unlucky getting paired with one of the like strongest teams in the contest, but yeah, good job anyway.
And also, I think it's really worth mentioning out that, like, on the first round, I remember Italy's map not being that great. It felt like kind of disconnected and quite unpolished at times, and the hit sounding was also very messy. But they really stepped up in this one. Like, if it wasn't for that just specific aspect of the correlation with the music, I really believe they could have like a better chance on this match. And they really did a really good job on this one. So that's actually a really nice one for them.
Indeed.
Very well. So, I guess we can go for the second match. Who was?
That should be China versus Argentina.
Exactly.
It's a very interesting one. I gotta say, I have my predictions which country was which entry. And I think I'm mostly correct with it, so I'm pretty sure I know that this is like a quite interesting battle. Oh, let's see the maps.
So we will see first the Chinese entry with led by Moeko.
Really good mapper, by the way. The entire team of China is very good, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed. And but I think Argentina, I mean, the mappers might not be that well known maybe than compared to the Chinese ones, but they also did a really good job on the qualifiers, so yeah, expectations are high.
One thing I really like in this entry is how diverse the sliders are. Like, the amount of creativity and complexity of the patterns is like really impressive, you know? Like, well, every time I saw like a really huge slider, I thought it was gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be almost the same thing as the previous one, but then like something completely different happened, and the amount of variations that happened is very, very incredible, in my opinion, at least, of course.
I know, right? I agree, and I also think that like there is a large amount of variety, but still it feels like very connected. Like the map has a certain theme to it, with like especially with like slider patterns going like back on other sliders.
Yeah, like this overlaps they do. Like this is really sick, man.
Yeah. And like, yeah, it doesn't always feel the same when they do it. It's always like something fresh.
And like, Myxo, I don't know if you stopped to notice this, or maybe you did, but like, basically in this song, there were like two go-to ideas that most countries picked. They would either go like with very big sliders and some kind of idea for those sliders, or they would rely on very slow sliders for these extended synths, you see?
Yeah.
And both of them, like, they work with different purposes. And that's something that I think it's really cool, especially on this match. Because this entry, like from China, probably, I believe it's China, by the way. So basically, it had so many long sliders, incredibly done, you know.
Yeah.
And the other entry kind of doesn't do that. I think it turned out really interesting how it's like kind of how it works.
Yeah. I gotta say that in the really intense parts that we're seeing here, not sure if I can pinpoint it exactly because we're not super synced. I'm not super synced with the stream, but there are sometimes those slider streams with the 1/8 sliders where I felt like it didn't really match that well to the song. Because they were used for like different types of sounds, and for some of them it just felt like the drums were were in the foreground.
Yeah, I see
it
what
was
you
like
mean.
the only minor nitpick I really had with this entry. Like I saw it was really nice overall.
Another thing that caught my attention in this one, like one of the kind of negatives, it's not really a bad thing, but that kind of made me go a bit, is that when you make a slider or a map with big sliders for emphasis, you can very easily make the pacing of the map too fast. You see? And there were certain moments that I felt like the map was too fast for the pace of the song. And that kind of made me feel like kind of disconnected from the experience. But even then, like, it kind of works in its way. It's really cool, like, impressive job.
Yeah, I'd agree to that. Like the song definitely, while it calls for like conventional tech mapping, I guess it's still like kind of low key and doesn't go super intense. So yeah, I can agree with your point here.
So we'll continue with the Argentina entry.
See, I have to say something, like, right off the bat about this map, because it kind of got my attention. I don't know if I'm overreacting, but I honestly got anxiety looking at this map for the first time. Like, for real. Because, like, this map, as I said, it tried to go in a different direction from the previous one. It tried to focus more on slow sliders and speed ups and speed, slow. And, like, this kind of made the map feel quite claustrophobic, you see? And also these hit sounds with the crows, and like it gives such a specific mood for the map. That, like it's such a unique experience. You see, like it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think it works so well with the song though. Like atmosphere-wise, this is the one. Like I already think from seeing the background and the combo colors, it already sold me on this map.
Yeah.
But then also the mapping itself, like it has a certain aesthetic to it that really just works well with the song.
And I think it's really cool how during, like, for example, now in the middle of the web sections and stuff, it not only did sliders, but there are some moments where they actually use streams for their hi-hats in the background, you see? And like a lot of simple ideas, but that they work really well. And maybe that's both a good thing, but also a bad thing. Because while it's a very good execution, the fact that it's quite simple may make some people not like this entry as much as the other one. Because one tries to like get your heart by the techniques and the complexity while still making sense of the song, and the other one goes all way out on the feeling of the song, you see? So this match is actually quite interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And personally, I think that these two entries are probably my two favorite maps of the Dictate song.
Oh,
so
yeah, definitely.
I was really sad. I'm personally really sad that one of them has to lose, because I really thought these were like the two extremes of what I would love to see on this song.
Yes, exactly. I think that summarizes pretty well. Like there was like one other match, I think it was like one of the best as well. But this one, as you said, I think it's like a very good one, simply because they didn't try to face each other on the same idea. They went to like different polar opposites, and they did like an amazing job in both of them. So it makes the judging super hard.
Yeah.
Are you a rich man?
What do you mean rich? What do you mean?
You have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
And yeah, also shout out to those hard slider arts in the middle there with the distorted one. That was really cool. It's already a while ago now since we were talking, but yeah, awesome entry, really.
Ooh, the time for the result.
Yeah.
Myxo.
Do you want my prediction?
Okay. Let me go first. Let me go first this time.
Okay.
Let's keep alternating, okay?
Yeah.
You see, as we said, both are really cool. But I personally am more of the Argentina in this case. Because even though both are extremely well done, I think not everything is about techniques. And being able to make a map feel like the song without like using very complex ideas and techniques is something not everyone can do. You see, but I still think it's gonna be a very close match. So I'm gonna go like 3-2 to Argentina.
Wow.
And I'm saying exactly the same. I think it's close for sure because both of these are just incredible entries. But personally, I slightly prefer Argentina in the end just because of how the mood it creates. Like, it's of course completely minor and subjective in this case, but yeah, there was just
Yeah.
nothing really to criticize here. So I would go with Argentina 3-2 as well.
Damn. Okay. Really interesting. I think when I did my vote, I don't remember if I put 4-1 or 3-2 to China. But let's go. It's a 3-2 for Argentina.
Oh,
Wow, nailed it.
wow. Damn,
Was a
Incredible.
really
that's
close
incredible.
score. I would say
Oh,
that
man.
China get a bit unlucky to face a really strong Argentina on that kind of song. Like, it's really unexpected.
Yeah, it's really unlucky here for China to lose.
Yeah, man. Well, like I personally, even though this is quite sad for China, as we said, it's not a matter of like, oh, this team is better than yours. Or like, no, it's basically a very close match. And at the end of the day, it's not like your entry was that bad because it was absolutely incredible. And I personally am not the kind of guy that likes much of like super wub tech maps, but this entry from China is absolutely amazing, breathtaking even.
Same. I agree.
We lost a really strong team.
Yeah.
That's really sad. But yeah,
But that means Argentina is now up against France, and honestly, I think like with this entry, they really show that they have a chance. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
believe
gonna
so.
be a
Yeah.
super interesting battle in the next round.
indeed. But well, it's time for our third match of the night with Vietnam versus Canada.
All right. Also an interesting one. Like, just from seeing the map, you can tell that these two entries are gonna be extremely different from one another.
By the way, before like starting the map, can you just like say the name of the anonymous
Oh.
difficulty name?
Yes.
Yeah.
China was Timmy, Argentina was Sable, and now Vietnam is Isabel.
Isabel and oh, okay, I know Isabel in red, right?
Yeah.
So let's go for Vietnam entry.
Yeah, so we have the Thank You Scientist song again. And right off the bat, I can say that this entry also uses the high density, low spacing concept, but I think it put like its own twist on it, which we will see soon.
Yeah. In my opinion, this was another really good match, but different from the previous one, which was like two polar opposites. At least to me, it felt like both had a very similar goal. You see, like both have like this, as we mentioned previously, like this kind of linear flow with like closed spacing, but they also sometimes use like very creative slider shapes that, even though they're like not weird but very different, you see, from your usual shapes, they work really well on the aesthetics of the map and also on the flow. And in this case here, we can see that they have a lot of those like quite straight sliders with some abrupt curves. You see, like to make the even if we have like jumps and even like what's the word, ankle break movements because of these sliders, like with this quick turn to the other opposite side, it really feels very natural to play because all of those strong movements happens in a very specific sound of the song, and there's a lot of very specific sounds in this song, and this entry like captures them really well.
Yeah, exactly. And I just love the use of like super low spacing, super fast sliders, like in comparison to the circle movements. That's something that only this entry did, and I think just it works super well with the song. It creates a really high intensity without making like super hard to play.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's one of the easier ones to play on this song, but still like captures the full intensity of the song. And
yeah, and they controlled really well the pacing of the map because like even though like from start to finish is kind of the same idea, you can very clearly notice the difference in the speed of the sliders, of the spacing of the notes, even if they play similarly. So that's like a very good job on the organization of the map.
Indeed. By the
Very
way, there
well.
are multiple people saying that our voices are too loud on the stream.
Too loud
Maybe
now?
you
Okay.
could lower it a bit. Yeah, because they can't hear the song.
Okay, I will then.
Well, but now people are saying it's fine.
Yep. I will think I will do nothing and yep.
Yeah.
So, Canada entry was read indeed, as you guessed it. So it will be time for Canada entry now.
I'm gonna be honest, the first few seconds of every single entry on this music already gave me like most of the impression of the entry, because some entries like went too dense, others went like way too little dense, you see, so you can kind of get an idea of what exactly are they trying to accomplish with.
Yeah. And here we can
I really like this idea, like it's simple, but like this back and forth in the screen, like with the placement repeating, is something so simple but very cool. Like,
you mean here these symmetrical patterns?
yeah.
Yeah. I actually didn't like those that much. Like I like the entry overall. I like how it uses interesting slider shapes like throughout. The aesthetic is very cool here. But I think those symmetrical patterns, like while they look cool, I don't think they are that good on song expression, simply because like they're trying to represent also like the pitch going down and intensity going down with the slider shapes, but in the end, in the gameplay, it's like always the same movement, you know?
And it ends up having like a big spacing because like in a way it feels like you're jumping like from one corner of the screen to the other. Like maybe if it had like less spacing, it could work better. But yeah, I can definitely see what you mean.
Yeah, but other than that, really cool. Yeah, like I think the creativity here lies with how the different slider shapes are used really to create nice patterns. And again, it's an entry where the styles just work so well together.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
It's incredible how so many mappers can like share ideas like that and make them work that well.
Ooh, that's a nice slider at the end.
Yeah, that's a really cool slider too.
So, it's time for score prediction.
Myxo?
So I start this time. Okay, so I gotta say again, I really like both entries. I am gonna go with Vietnam. That's also what I went with personally, simply because I really love the spacing and SV concepts there. I really loved how it played, and yeah, in the end liked it a bit better than Canada's one, but again, this is really close, and I could see different people having like very different opinions on that. So I'm gonna go with 3-2 for Vietnam.
Oh, just for confirmation, because I still have in my mind the anonymous names. Vietnam is Isabel, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So basically, Myxo kind of summarized my thoughts as well. At first, my vote was Vietnam, but I think I started to question myself a bit because both maps are really, and I was not sure how I was supposed to like break the tie of the to me. You see, and basically what broke this tie to me was in favor of Canada because Vietnam had some patterns like moments where they had like very creative slider shapes and they used those on very specific moments to increase the contrast. But Canada did that from the start and achieved the same amount of contrast but with more creativity. So I ended up like changing my vote mostly to the amount of experience and execution of the idea. So I also think it's gonna be close, but it's gonna be 3-2 to Canada.
3-2 to Canada. Okay. Well, I was a big fan of the Vietnam entries in qualifier, so I voted for Vietnam. I think 4-1. And the final result is 3-2 for Vietnam.
Yes.
Oh,
Failed it again.
oh, yeah. Okay, I'm losing Myxo. 1-0 for you.
Yeah, but really, really close match, and we were both right on that this is a 3-2 match yet again.
Yeah, it's a 3-2. Yeah.
Indeed. But yeah, we have a lot of really close match this round. That's what is really interesting, I think. And with that, I guess we are ready to jump directly into our fourth match. The cute two teams, Sweden versus Brazil.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go.
Who is on the chat?
Seto, are you nervous?
Oh, no, I hope they fail. I hate those guys. I mean, yeah, of course, I'm very nervous.
I mean, so the only time we will hear the metal music for the entire evening, because
please map more metal, guys.
Yeah.
yes, Sweden is Wilbur and Brazil is Wisp. And with that, we start. We're jumping right now with Sweden entry.
Let's go.
With a really interesting background.
10 out of 10 background. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this background matches the song a lot. Honestly, it feels like trashy and like heavy in a way. You see, I think it's really cool, and it kind of fits the map as well because this entry, like, it's very how to use the right word? Like, it's messy but still organized in a way because you can see that everything's intentional. You see, so like it works. It makes sense of the song in a way, but I do have to mention something that was like, at least to me, was quite apparent when looking at this map. But it feels like not all of the mappers, but like a good portion of the mappers had no clue how to map a metal song in a way. Because like the E map has like a lot of good ideas. Like these gliders are really cool. They can make like some very interesting emphasis, and in my opinion, like shout outs to the chorus of the song, the KIs. The KIs are amazing. They play really, really well and they fit amazing in the song. My favorite part of this map was the chorus. It's really, really great. But there are several ideas, like for example the gaps between notes, you see, that sometimes just don't make sense with the rhythm of the song because there are clear notes in between them on the layer they were following. like right now before the transition to this KI, there was like a break in between the notes, but there was no pause in the song at all. And also a few other things like related to the solo, like they would start the stream very strong, and on the peak of the stream they would change it to sliders. So it feels like the organization of the map was a bit lackluster. You see?
Yeah, yeah, I can agree to that. Like, I think this map is really, like, you can see the experience of the mappers is really high, and like the creativity is high too. Like, you can just see a lot of very interesting patterns, and it also plays pretty nicely. But yeah, I just think like the solo is really the section where my like main criticism with this entry shows the best. It just doesn't like.
Yeah.
It looks nice. It's nice to play, but it doesn't feel like it goes that well with the song. For me personally.
Yeah. I think like if the map had followed a similar line of thinking as the chorus, this would be amazing because the chorus is really cool, man.
Yeah.
Like this extended sliders, like with slowdowns and speed ups on the guitar licks. This is sick. My favorite KI like of this match is from this entry.
Okay. Yeah, and I thought that the 1/3 section that we saw was a bit underwhelming rhythmically, with like being like the same rhythm just all the time. But yeah, we will see how Brazil keeps up to that.
Yeah. I don't think they can make a better chorus than this entry, though. I have to say that. This chorus is simply really good.
So that's time for the Brazil entry then. I guess we're ready.
Yeah. Bad background. I'm gonna say that right now. The other background was better.
True.
I don't know you, Myxo, but like, it feels like this map is a little bit too simple. You know, I feel like it lacks the aggressive feeling that Sweden had on their map. You see, like because it's too simple, too Polish. Like it has like some good emphasis here and there, but like especially through the verse, it feels like the map is too tame. So it feels like you lack that aggressivity from the metal song.
Yeah, I agree. And I have to say, those whistles samples that we just heard are like really dominant, like compared to the rest of the hit sounding, and that's kind of
Yeah.
But I have to say, other than this, yeah, it might be quite a simple map. I still think like it doesn't really do anything wrong. It just, yeah, it's kind of underwhelming here in parts.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite overwhelming.
On that.
Yeah, and like if you compare, like for example, like so far the map is not incredible, but it works. You see, like it works. It follows the intensity. It has contrast in a way, but it's quite weak and bland. And that's a shame because the solo of this map is actually really cool. So it feels like most of the map was quite way too simple, and they went all ham on the solo. Like if they did something as incredible as the solo on the rest of the map, it would have been better. Like it just feels like it's lacking something.
Definitely, yeah. But the solo that we're gonna see soon is really something.
Yeah, this solo is really sick.
And especially compared to the Sweden one.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I think just the streamer rhythms they went for here just work better with the song and just representing the intensity better.
Like with the increase and decrease in spacings following the pitches of the, like this is really sick.
And also, like, I see people in the chat criticizing the hit sounding, but I really think apart from those whistle samples that are used occasionally, the hit sounding is really good, and especially in the
Yeah.
solo again. Like in the solo, the hit sounding has a lot of like intensity, very good feedback for streams, and just sounds really cool.
Also, speaking of hit sound, I think we also need to shout out to Sweden, because like on the first round, Sweden's hit sound was one of my favorites, and it didn't have one single custom hit sound. And holy shit, this hourglass ladder is really cool, quite funny,
agree.
really cool. Yeah, so like
Fitting to the
Sweden
theme of
has
the
a
song.
great hit sounding without customs, and that's insane.
Yeah.
You know what time is it?
Yeah, the time for the votes, and it's my turn.
Yep.
Well,
Mhm.
basically, as we said, I think it's quite clear how I kind of have problems with both maps. Sweden has like, in my opinion, the best chorus between both entries, because it like Brazil's entry had a similar idea as Sweden, but Sweden just did it better. The chorus is better, you see. But the rest of the map just felt like they didn't know what exactly they were trying to do. And I think that while the AR9 was a good idea to keep the map more dense and like quite more like messy and aggressive with the song, they didn't really work this high density of notes really well, and that like made the map feel very unorganized. And the solo is like very, very weird with the intensities and stuff. The Brazil's map, on the other hand, like has an amazing solo, but everything else is just too weak. You see, like it works, but it's just too weak. So I was kind of split in a way, but my vote went for Brazil in this case, because I feel like even if it's not the best map that it could have been for this song, it works better as a map compared to the other entry. And I think it's gonna be another 3-2 to Brazil.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. I would say basically the same. I'm gonna say one more thing. I just feel like I do think that like if you would show me those entries without the music, I would definitely go for Sweden.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I
definitely.
think like the concepts in parenting they use are just more interesting. Like it feels more innovative in a way,
Yeah,
and more coherent too. But I just feel like Sweden was not comfortable enough with the song, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and they were trying to make it something that it's not. Like in my personal opinion. So in the end, I just went with Brazil, even though I find it less polished. And I just felt like overall I was feeling the map more on this kind of song, and the solo was incredible.
So you're both going for Brazil.
Yeah, and we're both saying 3-2 because this is
okay.
gonna be a
Plot
close
twist:
one.
me and Myxo were the only ones that voted for Brazil. Imagine.
Well, as for myself, I put 3-2 to Sweden, but I was wrong. It's 3-2 to Brazil.
Oh, yeah. Who is on chat?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people in the chat are disagreeing.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, that was a tough one, because like in a way I feel like Sweden should have deserved the win, but they, like as I said in my comments for the voting, like on the website, it feels like they got terribly counterpicked, because even though Brazil's map is not amazing, it kind of works, and Sweden had a lot of good ideas, but they couldn't execute that for the song. So it feels like counterpicked happened in mapping. Like,
exactly.
It was really, really a rough match. But yeah, Brazil going for the next round versus Vietnam. Will be interesting.
Very interested to see that.
And then we're going to the fifth match, a really, really anticipated one, because it is nothing else that UK versus USA.
Oh. And what's the anonymous names?
The anonymous name were Tom Nook for UK and Flick for USA.
Oh.
Interesting.
So, let me
Which
find...
one first?
We're going for
I wanna see this
UK first.
Okay.
Of course. Everything's good. Let's go.
I have to be honest, man. Like this background only makes me think of the meme of Overdrive, the person falling. That was the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah, again, we have a kind of like more subtle approach like to mapping this song. I guess not really going for super high intensity, but keeping it kind of
It's like a balance between the two ideas, right? Because it has moments with big sliders, and then it goes like super slow, depending on that. Like for example, right now, very little movements with slow SVs, and when the song like explodes, big sliders. So I feel like it didn't decide to go like in one of those two ideas we commented earlier, but try to find a middle ground between them, which is something really cool actually, and also quite hard to execute. But yeah.
Yeah.
Just like big sliders.
Agree, and overall the entry is like, I think UK is kind of similar to France in a way that it's just incredible like how polished this entry is and how coherent, how everything just works together seamlessly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those kick slider spams are really cool as well.
Yeah. And it's actually a shared concept with the contender.
Oh yeah,
So
indeed.
yeah, that's executed in both entries.
It's also really cool when you notice that like some of the parts of this song, instead of using sliders, they decided to make like single notes, a lot of notes stacked with different gaps. So like it's a single, then a double, and then a triple, like but very clumped. And usually they do that on like more calm moments, which creates a very unique emphasis compared to the rest of the map. So like it feels like they got like all the different ideas that other entries had, and they tried to replicate them like one at a time. You see, like trying to find a balance between all possible ideas that people could have with this. And I think it worked really well, to be honest.
Yeah. And again, lots of nice variety with the slider shapes and stuff as well.
Are you a rich man?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you mean, rich? What do you mean?
Do you have a lot of possessions?
Yeah, overall just
We shall make you rich.
one of those entries where at least I watched it 5 times. I'm like, what am I gonna criticize here? And I couldn't really come up with anything, so yeah, just fantastic entry.
So we're gonna continue with the USA entry, Flick.
Yep.
So, here we go.
Very interesting background.
Yeah, I feel like it fits the song like in a very weird way, but it does. It feels like really cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make me think of a meme. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the low circle size is used really well in this entry.
Mm-hmm.
And here we're gonna
yeah. You can go ahead.
here
Go
we're
ahead.
gonna see a lot more of slider streams.
Yeah.
than in the UK entry, but yeah, I think the one difference is that like they feel a bit overused here sometimes to me personally, because they are used for like different sounds and like similar patterns for different sounds in that case.
If you see like the way that they did the streams, I think it's a really cool idea because like they do streams, and when one of the sounds is like, for example, a loud snare or something, they keep doing the stream, but they use a kick slider to emphasize that note specifically. So like that's a very cool addition, and like they try to do that like through most of the map. But the only thing that they should be like wary of is that when you try to follow so many things at the same time, sometimes it feels like you're not following any of them properly. Not like it was like big of a deal in this case, but it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I agree. And here again, I really love the slider shape usage. I love the like distorted
Yes.
sliders that like wiggle around. I love this pattern with the two like curved sliders like leading into each other that we just saw there.
There's one thing, like I think there was only one of the ideas they had that kind of bothered me a lot, is that like there are some certain sliders that are like for example this one that just showed up, like it's very small, it feels like it goes to one direction, but the slider ball goes to the tail and comes back. So like even though like it's not unrankable or anything, it could arguably be very confusing because they do that like in near other sliders that are like normal, you see? So it kind of makes the gameplay sometimes feel a bit too try hard, in my opinion.
Yeah, and one other thing I'll have to say is that I thought the hit sounding was a bit like it felt a bit like it could have been improved a bit in some places. Sometimes maybe it felt a bit under hit sounded.
When you mean rich, what you mean?
You have a lot of possessions.
Yeah.
A lot of money in the bank.
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My
Ooh,
rich-
your turn to do the voting now, bro.
Time for score.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think from the commentary it was clear I like both of these a lot. But still, personally, I prefer UK. But I don't know. It feels like before the stream, I would have said 3-2 because I thought this would be really close. But now that I've kind of heard your opinion as well, it feels like we are overall leaning more towards UK. So I'm gonna go with 4-1 for UK.
Yeah, I kind of see what you mean because, as you said before, I was feeling like, this is really close. Like, I don't know if I'm being too nitpicky on the sliders and like on the hit sound and stuff. So I was going for 3-2, but like, yeah, like it feels just feels like UK did a better job at balancing their ideas, and instead of going like all the way out in a single one, they decided to get like the best traits of different ideas and try to make all of them work really well between themselves without forcing anything. And doing this and still making the map feel very coherent and connected, I think it has like a little bit more of care and control over the map as a whole. So I'm gonna go 4-1 UK as well.
Okay. When I jumped aboard the UK train, I give 5-0, but it's
Ooh.
Myxo who are right. It's 4-1 for UK.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we were both right.
We are, Myxo, we are objectively speaking the guys that predict the scores, the future. All three of us, you see, like
Yeah.
except maybe less me because I messed up one, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, the chat already noticed it, but shout out to Hypersize team getting a 4.
Yeah, 4 hyper. Congratulations.
True. You predicted it. Amazing.
Oh my god.
Nice prediction.
The score is hyper side to 1.
Yeah. Now it's UK's turn to score 4-1 every round. That's what I'm expecting.
That would be a nice objective. It will be hard, but yeah.
Yeah.
Know that, yes, a praise side get 4. It's time to jump to the 6th match, who is it is Australia versus Norway. Oh, they've been called during the mapping phase Norway.
That's just rude.
I
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I mean, if they lose, it will be tough for them.
Anonymous names.
Anonymous
Because I'm
name
a boomer.
for Australia is Tommy, and for Norway it's Label.
I see.
Ah.
So we're going again with Melodic by Dictates. And let's
Tommy,
go with
right?
the Australia entry. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's just enjoy a bit of music. With the intro.
And they using the almighty Nano Mortis background.
Yeah, that's already a reason to make them lose, if you ask me. Nah, just kidding.
Oh no, you didn't.
Savage.
No, of course not. No, I think this entry is very nice. It's a bit like, it doesn't look like it does anything like very outstanding on the first look, but looking a bit more into it, it definitely has some nice details. And I think it also feels very coherent throughout, and it makes nice use of circle to slider 1/4 jumps that are really easy to play, or like really nice also for like a bit lower skill level. So yeah, it's
and one
always
thing
nice.
I really like about this entry is that it tried to go to that direction of like big sliders, you see. But even though they're doing that, there's some moments where they kind of try to do something that the UK did very well, which is using different ideas. So it's not just big sliders. There are some slowdowns that works really well. Sometimes they do like kick slider patternings that have a very interesting visual and also complements the song really well. So I feel like they had like a very clear goal, but they were like, okay, we have some room to do like other stuff as well. And they could implement those ideas without making the map feel very forced and like a mess and unorganized. Like it works really well. I also like those strings, like with the last note having a jump. It's really cool when people do that, especially on this kind of song.
Yeah.
And these slow downs after kick slider pattern is really cool.
Are you a rich man?
So yeah, this map is also like just really nice to play.
Lot of possessions? Lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life.
I don't have that type of richness.
It's okay. Okay, let's jump for label the Norway entry then.
Yes.
I will skip the intro this time.
So yeah, right off the bat we can see some difference in approach here.
Mm-hmm.
Another use of small circles.
And also, like, if you see, like, usually the other entries, as we mentioned a lot during this stream, like, they would either go for, like, big sliders, or they would go for, like, very clear slow downs and small sliders, you see? But this is one entry that did something a little bit different. They focused more on, like, very close notes, kind of like a linear flow, you see? But with, like, an emphasis in different rhythms. So there are some gaps that happens after doubles, and then you have, like, a 3/4 rhythm. Like, they do some stuff, like, really cool. Like, for example, these overlaps they do after pauses. Like, it's something that works really well, and other entries didn't really try to do that, like, too much, you see? So even if it doesn't follow, like, the basic go-to idea for this kind of song, I think it's a very bold and very intelligent approach, because it's something that not all countries would have done, you see? And in my opinion, it works, like, I'm not gonna say that it works more impressive than one of the other two ideas, like, executed very well. But the amount of attention that you have to do on a map like this can definitely compensate, like, the effort that it's put into it.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I personally I think this entry has nice ideas. I don't always like how it translates into gameplay. Like, I often feel like the approach to use, like, really fast sliders with the low circle size, and then after that there's often, like, a super low spacing that felt kind of underwhelming for me to play. Like, I'm losing my momentum without it really being justified. But it's definitely one of the more interesting entries, just because of also how different it is from everything else.
Yeah, it's a very different choice, like, in the map as a whole.
Are you a rich man?
What do you mean, Rich? What do you mean?
You know what
And
time is it? Yes.
Yeah, the voting time. Who is it now, me or you? I don't remember.
It's your turn.
Okay. So this one was a bit hard, like, for me to choose, because one of the maps, like, Australia did something that everyone knows that works, you see, and they did it very well. Norway, on the other hand, tried a different approach that may not please everyone, and there's some stuff that even I personally don't like much, but I can see how it works quite well. And having, like, let's say, the courage of trying something that is out of the ordinary, like, for the ideas on a tournament like this, and actually making a very good map of this, deserves some praise. So I'm gonna go with Norway, but I think it's gonna be 3-2.
Mm.
Okay.
So for me, it was kind of tough at first, and basically agreeing with you, but looking deeper into it, I really felt like, both in gameplay, I felt that while Australia kept it safe, it just convinced me more in the end. And also looking a bit more into rhythm construction, which is something I didn't mention during the stream, but Norway had a lot of streams that went over different sounds, and also simplified, like, 1/6 snaps to 1/4 together with other 1/4 sounds in the same streams, and a lot of little things like that just in the end kind of brought Norway down for me. So I went with Australia, but yeah, I can see this being close, so I'm saying 3-2 for Australia.
Okay, interesting. I did myself a 3-2 to Australia, and it was close once again. It's 3-2 for Australia.
Ooh, 3-2. Yeah.
Correct again.
Yeah, good job, good job. You see, I am the underdog guy. You see, I root for the underdogs. That's the point. Like,
I see a lot of people
Yeah,
disagree
no.
with this score. I know, well,
People
it's
complaining, but I think, yeah, I mean, it's always up to opinions in the end.
Yeah, like, both are, like, as we said, both are very close. You see.
It
Yeah.
it was really close. I think a lot of matches were really close this time, and it's not over.
And yeah, it's really also like it's sometimes the first impression is very different from the lasting impression on these entries. Like especially here, I think seeing it on the first time on stream, I would have also went with Norway, but just looking more into the details, how the rhythm represents stuff, and playing it, yeah, I changed my mind in the end. So
Someone said on the chat, "Thanks, Seto. You gave us a 0 in qualifiers."
Yeah, correct.
You're welcome, bro.
And with that, we're going to the 7th matches, and it is South Korea versus Denmark.
Oh, what is the anonymous,
South
please?
Korea is Lloyd and Denmark is Orville.
Oh, okay. I have to mention something. This was so hard for me to choose Myxo. That was so hard. Not for the reasons one would expect, but it was so hard.
I didn't find it that hard, to be fair.
Oh.
But let's see.
Yeah, which one first?
I guess Korea is coming first.
Yes, absolutely. South Korea is the first one we will watch.
You wanna speak first, Myxo? I wanna be the last one speaking in this match.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know, like, what can I say? I mean, this entry, like, the first impression I had with it was very good. Like, the aesthetics and the way the patterning is set up, the way the spacing is used and everything is kind of similar. Like, it's similar to some other entries we've seen that scored really highly. And yeah, I think it's a good map. I just think here it's kind of a similar thing to me than with Norway in the last match. Like, looking into the details, it's where you can see there are definitely some flaws in this entry, let's say. Like, I think the hit sounding, for example, following only the drums when the map's usually prioritizing the melody, makes it feel kind of underwhelming. And some rhythm choices, like some locations, especially of triples between sliders, like kind of threw me off because they don't go that well with the song in the intense parts. But yeah, that's basically what I would say. Good entry, but has its flaws with rhythm and hit sounding.
Yeah, like this map, like it's very clear when looking at it that it's a really good map. Like, you can see the consistency in it, you can see like technique on it. The map has a very good visual spacing, it has very interesting patterns, and it has like some overmaps that works really well. In fact, like they complement the song in a way, and leaving like the color hexing for the most intense part of the map is something like really cool as well. So you can see that they had like a really good approach and they had a very clear idea of what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take a look at all the techniques and the complexity of the map, you go and question yourself, okay, but what else there is to the map besides a lot of techniques? And this was one of the biggest questions I had to answer during the judging of this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I gotta say, I really love that circle pattern near the end with like the circles going, alternating on each side and going into the middle. That was really cool way to represent that.
So we're going for the second one with Denmark.
You want to speak first again?
Sure, I can do that. Like this entry is very different from the other Thank You Scientist maps we have seen, simply because stylistically it feels a lot more like less geometry based, less like meta aesthetic, I guess. So my first impression was like, I don't know, it almost felt generic at first, like especially in the first few sections. But yeah, I think this one really, like every time you play it, it gets better.
Yeah, the
That's
gameplay is
kind of-
really good in this one.
That's kind of the effect I have with it. Like the movement is incredible, and the patterning, like there's only a few ideas here that are varied so well on each repetition, and like it doesn't just change like a minor thing about them, but it changes like actually how they play. And I always really like when entries do that.
Mhm. Well, in my case, like, to be very honest, there's like a lot of things that this map feels quite unorganized to me. Like, as you said, the gameplay is really cool. Like, it works really well. The sections have also a very clear contrast between them. So, like, you know when you're playing something tense, you know when you're playing something weak, because the map follows the song really well. And even if I don't think that some sections are as well as polished as they could be, the map at the end of the day works. I don't think it's a great map. I feel like it has, I'm not gonna say flaws because they're not mistakes, but it feels like they couldn't properly execute what they wanted. It works well, but it could have been so much better, you see? It feels like it's quite, I think unpolished is the right word. And compared to the other entry, like both in the techniques and the amount of experience, I believe there is a big gap between this map and the other one.
I actually don't really agree with you there. Like, I think this entry is really polished. I think it doesn't go for the conventional ways to polish patterns, but I think it is like really nice.
Mm-hmm. Voting time.
It is score vote time. Yes.
Yeah, Seto, you go first, I think.
Yes.
Let me go first because, like, if you notice from my commentary right now, it feels like my vote is going to South Korea, but I'm not gonna vote for South Korea because even though I think that the South Korea map has more experience, I don't think they made a better map in this song because the contrast of that map was basically decided on how many 1/6 overmapped notes you can put into sections. And when you have to run over the song to accomplish something, I think there's something wrong with that. And this is something that Denmark did really, really well. Even if I personally, on my subjective opinions, think the map could have been better, the map is really good. It is consistent. It has a great contrast between sections, and it works really well. So I'm going with a 4-1 to Denmark.
Ooh.
And yeah, I said it at the beginning that I didn't have such a hard time choosing my favorite here because I don't really have the negative feelings about Denmark. And yeah, while I thought that Korea was also good, I felt was lacking in hit sounding and rhythm. And I thought Denmark was just something really special because of how different it was from all the other entries and how it had like a more freeform aesthetic, but still executed it so well. And like those repeated patterns with the two sliders overlapping that go like across the screen and all its variations were just really cool. So yeah, I am going with Denmark, but I think it's close. Like I think it's 3-2 for Denmark because I don't think that every judge would agree to that.
Yeah,
So
I'm going all the way out on Denmark in this case. At first, I would go 3-2, but like, you know what? YOLO, let's go 4-1.
Okay. For myself, I put 3-2 for South Korea. And now that I saw it, I think I should have voted for Denmark. But it is 3-2 for South Korea.
Oh. That
Oh,
was
I
a close
see.
one.
So
That
we
was a
are
close one.
both the only ones who voted
Yeah, we
for
were the
Denmark.
only
Yes,
ones.
so yes.
Yay! Yeah.
Mm, well, happens.
Again,
It happens,
probably
bro.
a score will divide the community about it, but yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. You see, that was really hard for me to choose because, like, in my head, South Korea map was like, this is good, but I don't know, man. You see?
Yeah, I mean, definitely shout out to both of them here.
Yeah, yeah.
And shout out to Denmark. You really were a unique team in this contest.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
And then we're jumping to our last match, who was also, I think, a really anticipated one. Coded it nothing at that. Poland versus Russia. Two teams, yeah, I won't say anything, yes. But yeah, the anonymized name for them are, of course, the two remaining ones. Poland is Rover and Russian Federation is Blaster.
Mhm.
And we will listen 2 times Wrinkle again, because we like it. And then here we go.
Cute BG. Oh, a lot of people in the chat, cute BG. Yeah, indeed, really cute.
Yeah, it really fits well, the song as well.
Uh-huh. Can we award points for BG, please? Let's make another competition just for BGs, man.
Yeah.
We could include a special motion for best background. Maybe.
So you're
Yeah,
telling
that's
me that Russia and Poland aren't the same country?
Oh.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that Poland plays to its strength here with creating like nice variety, like nice rhythm variety without feeling forced.
Yeah, indeed. Like this match, I honestly didn't know what exactly to choose because like both entries do like what they intend to really well. You see, and like a lot of entries try to do this kind of like linear flow with like close spacing, anti jumps and stuff. But this entry, for example, does it like way better than like most of the others. You see, I feel like they could like represent their ideas really well, and it's still doing like some variations with sliders, the 3/4, when sometimes they're like spaced out, sometimes they are overlapped, and I think this map has so much variety, and all of those just feel very natural in the song. And the gameplay is just so sick to play. Like it's really cool.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I think the map is a bit like it has some parts where there feels like there are some unjustified difficulty spikes.
Yeah, the difficulty
For me
spikes,
personally, like it's definitely not the most coherent entry, also between the parts in terms of like how it plays and how hard it is to play in terms of the intensity. But yeah, those are minor things. Like overall, I think really good entry. And yeah, like the
Mhm.
chat is saying, we can definitely see Kaliba as the influential mapper. He is like kind of stylistically carrying this, I think.
A lot of people saying Phoenix Parts ruined it. Like, wow, good. Poor
it ruined-
Phoenix.
Okay.
And then yeah, it's time for the next one, the Russian entry.
Yes.
A really artistic background.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit, I got a bit like tilted hearing the normal hit to normal on this calm intro, but that's minor. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it on Poland's entry. I really loved the hit sounding, especially use of slider whistles. But let's talk about Russia's one. Like, I think it's kind of interesting. Like, I think Russia's entry is consistently good. There's no doubt about that for me. But I think compared to Poland, it plays it kind of safe. I don't know if you would agree, Seto, but
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now, because like both maps have a similar like idea they're following, but Russia decided to keep like the spikes at minimum. They have like moments where they go like all out on patterns and stuff, but they are not as often as the other entry, you see. So you can very clearly see that Poland tried to go like a little bit like all out on some moments, and Russia tried to keep things like a little bit more safe, you see. So
Yeah.
it can either be like a good thing or a bad thing depending on the point of view you choose, but like I think both works quite well.
yeah, I agree. I think I don't really agree that it doesn't go for like spikes, because I think that's like one criticism I have of this entry. Like, there are some similar, like with Poland, there are some kind of big difficulty spikes. One of them we saw like a few seconds ago, because like the spacing is usually really low, and then sometimes it's really high, and it's not really on the most intense parts necessarily, which kind of threw me off while playing. But yeah,
Yeah.
other than
I like-
that, it's a really consistent entry.
Yeah, there was one thing that did bother me in this entry though, is that like even though it didn't have like the spikes of the other difficulty, like going too crazy, there are moments where some patterns feel like they don't really follow the melody they're trying to follow. Like for example, in the middle of the song, there was a ki where they did like groups of three, like emphasizing the first note, but that was not the peaks of the melody at that point. So it felt a bit disconnected, you see. And that's exactly why they may have trouble choosing between those two, because in one side you have a map that has some problems with diff spikes, and the other one you have like a map that has some problems with the coherency between certain patterns and the song. But it's your turn to vote first now, Myxo.
Yeah, I gotta say, again, it was a really close one for me. But yeah, overall, I thought that Poland took a bit more risks, and all the minor issues I had with both of the maps were kind of present in both of them. And then I also really found the hit sounding incredible on Poland's one. And in the end, that made me pick Poland. But I will say it's close, so I'm going with 3-2 for Poland.
Yeah. When I was deciding between them, basically my line of thought was that like I'd rather have to play a pattern that sometimes feel too hard than play something that I can't feel in the song. You see? So with that kind of line of thought, I'm gonna keep like saying I still think it's similar. I think it's gonna be like 3-2, and I'm gonna go with Poland as well, 3-2.
Okay, interesting. I went for 3-2 for Russia, and I have to say that even for the community it was really close, because they managed to do a 50-50 on the pick them for Poland versus Russia. Good something. But it is a 3-2 for Russia.
Oh wow, so again, us both voting for
Yeah,
Poland.
we suck,
and everyone
bro.
else. Yeah, no, this could have really gone either way. Like, both entries were.
Yeah, it's literally like, what do you value most? You see, like in one specific thing, like it's very very close.
Yeah.
So with that, we got the bracket. Sadly, yeah, you can't see it, but we have your next 4 match for the quarterfinal. It is France versus Argentina, Vietnam versus Brazil. United Kingdom versus Australia, and South Korea versus Russian Federation. Does that sound interesting to you?
I'm definitely hyped for that.
I
Like
think
these are gonna all four gonna be close matches most likely.
Yeah, we are top 8, and I think I'm really hyped with what what Argentina offered to us for the round of 16. I'm really hyped for them versus France, and of course United Kingdom will be a really pog match.
Yeah.
If you have nothing to add more, we will reveal the next music genre for the quarterfinal.
Wanna say something, Myxo, before moving on?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't think I wanna say anything as well. Just like, sorry for the roasts. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm human too. Okay.
Yeah, really a big thanks for every team to did their best to create something amazing, even if they lose. It was really
yeah.
they always did something amazing in the end. So really props to them.
True. And I gotta say, I'm gonna reveal the genres for next round. It's metal, metal, and metal.
You're close.
And for those, and if there's a tie, because it's gonna be 4 judges, the tiebreaker is gonna be melodic metal. So
Yeah.
Imagine. And now let's reveal then the music for the quarterfinal. It will be electronic, experimental, and breakcore.
Oh.
I see you took the genres from the featured artist listing.
Yes, of course. But I have to say, we picked them, and even if you could say it's all electronic, no, they all are really different in the kind of music. We didn't pick 3
Gonna
like
be interesting.
basic electronic stuff. It's really different in their style, and we'll give opportunities to every team, of course, to map something different.
Yeah.
And if my co-staff are doing stuff well, it should be available the vote for the captain for the next phase. So I hope it is. Otherwise, we will fix that as soon as possible. And with that, we're done, I think.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I hope you're not too mad at us judges.
Yeah.
for
Please
not
don't be
voting.
so mad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were not the only 2 judges, of course. You were 5 amazing judges who spent 1 week to choose between 16 teams. So big thanks to, of course, all our judges who work hard for this contest once again. And since we're done, I guess I will thank you both, Myxo and Seto, for joining me tonight for this. It was really nice to having you.
Yeah. Same, bro. It was fun.
Same.
And
It was amazing. Like being a cringe moment, saying like, yeah, hell yeah, 4-1, and then like 3-2.
Unlucky. But you know, that's what happened. Yeah, we were we had close matches, and of course it would happen. So with that,
Content creation.
I guess it's time to say good night, or good morning, or good day, depending where you are in the world. And I guess we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.